Hey, all, welcome into Postgame show. I guess we call it the post-game show. I'm your host, as always, Manny. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to follow me on X at Manny underscore 303, IG at 303 underscore Manny. But yeah, let's dive into this thing. Just a really bad performance by Colorado. Did not show up to play at all. Just an absolute mauling. I don't even know the right word. Ass kicking. Wanted to do this last night. It was just too late, and yeah, just not in the best of moods to after that ass kicking to talk about it. But yeah, here we are. Rough game last night. Right, you go. What was the second play of the game? What does he go? Bird Ficklin goes 63 yards. Just can't happen, right? One of the, again, keys to the games, right? That read option. He had to stop it, and yep, not able to. I am curious to see. I don't know if the grades are out yet or anything like that, but you go and I don't know how many tackles they missed, but again, that's been a problem. They cannot stop a running quarterback. Just a disaster all around. Awful night. Yeah. Humble Texan says 40 seconds in and they score. Yeah, I mean, that was ugly. That was really ugly. Yep, it was downhill from there. Just a really awful performance by Colorado. I just 53-7 final. It could have been more, right? Where were we at? 43-0 at halftime. Man, that was ugly. That was ugly. I remember, what was it, years ago, before Prime got hired, I think it was 42-0 at halftime in Utah. Yeah, just that was not fun. That was not fun, right? Obviously. Let's talk about a couple things, right? I think we kind of now know who are the players who showed up late. It looked like there was Omarion Miller, JoJo, Joseph Williams, right? That was just, I mean, I get that, right? And part of me says, great job, Prime, showing these kids to be on time, those kind of things. But again, the other part of me is make them run. Don't let them play the first drive or something like that. Like, like run their asses at practice, make them run, and just bench them for the first drive. Like, I think, in my opinion, that would have been better than putting what they did. Nobody could get separation. Just a horrible game plan going into it. One point, I think when was it? Caden Salter. During the game, there was one play where they had Jordan Seaton lined up wide and Larry Johnson lined up all the way, out at the receiver. Play call comes in, and he's just like, Caden Salter is like, what the hell are we doing? Right? Like, it looked like he was shaking his head. At that point, I was like, oh man, this is about to be a stupid play. And sure enough, it was a stupid play. I just don't understand. And at this point, there are going to be people, unfortunately, that do lose their jobs. I expect the staff to look a lot different next year. You cannot continue to do things they're doing on both sides of the ball, right? There's a point, too, when Prime is yelling at Rob Livingston. I don't know what it's about. But, man, some of the play calling on both sides of the ball is horrific. Like, right? Like, they couldn't even protect for Caden Salter last night. As much as we want to, that Caden Salter is changing the quarterback's going to fix this or that. He didn't have any time to throw the ball. Like, there was nothing there. Again, we know that interception he threw, can't read the defense. Those are all things that we know. All things that are they've been a problem all year. But at the same time, you do have to protect for your quarterback. And they just flat out did not do that. Yeah, and Chad Bolton says, homecoming at Utah, coming off a loss to the in-state rival. There was no room for error for the Buffs. They need to show up, and they didn't. Nope, did not show up whatsoever. Almost felt like they didn't even get off the bus or plane or whatever it is, right? They didn't show up. That's all we know. Coming off a bye, and typically you're supposed to be your sharpest after a bye. You have 2 weeks to prepare for the other team, right? And I love Coach Prime as much as I think everything he's brought in no way, shape, or form am I calling for him to this or that, or he's a bad coach. That's not what I think at all. They just more than likely they just need to get a better staff behind them. I would expect a lot of this next offseason, a lot of house cleaning to take place here in Boulder at your main coordinator positions. And again, it's just crazy though, because you have Rob Livingston last year, who was what was it, the Broyles Award, one of the Broyles Award candidates for one of the coordinator of the year, and this year not so much. It just looks like they just call the wrong defense all the time, it feels like, and it is it's insane. It's insane. This team is I think this is who they are. I know this is who they are. Played good against Iowa State, and again, Iowa State's not a amazing team by any means, but they are, I would say at this point, probably not going to be making a bowl game this year. I don't think it's going to happen. It's just too much. There's a lot of their schedule, right? Their schedule, they get Arizona at home. I don't know what that's going to look like against Arizona, right? They get Arizona, then they go to West Virginia they get a bye week, then they get Arizona State in Boulder on November 22nd and close up at Kansas State. So, essentially what you're saying is you got to go 3-1 the rest, not essentially. You have to go 3-1 the rest of the way. And I don't think that's doable. I don't think they will. So, right, I think you could see West Virginia. West Virginia's a win. I don't know about that Arizona game though. This next week, it is at 5 p.m. kickoff. It looks like it's scheduled for. So 5 p.m. Mountain Time, I should say. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't even know let me see if the spread is up there. I would assume. My assumption would be that the Buffs are underdogs in this, and just probably like 3 to 5 points, somewhere around there. Just guessing off the top of my head. Let's see where they're at. But I would assume this is not. They're gonna struggle down the way. And again, like I said, some house cleaning is going to more than likely take place. Now the problem with this though is that you got to keep as many of those guys as you possibly can on this roster now, right? Like you cannot have a mass exodus from Boulder, right? Like this cannot take place yet. No, doesn't look like any spreads up yet as far as I can tell. So, but I would expect that one to be from 3 to 5, 5.5, somewhere like that. But I expect they go into this game as underdogs. They'll go into West Virginia as favorites, and then the rest of the way, right? They're going to be favored to win one game the rest of the way. So I don't think a bowl game is going to happen this year for the Buffs. And again, you got to keep those guys there. McPherson, your Alex McPhersons, your London Merritts, your Chauncey Goodens, your Mantrez Walkers. Like you have to keep these guys in Boulder, right? Your Noah Kings, right? You got to keep these guys. And again, the Buffs are right. Your what is it? Branch are the safety, right? I've been hearing some things about him. I'm not sure how true they are, so I don't want to even put that out there. But that is one guy you got to keep. Jordan Seaton, obviously, Julian Lewis, Quentin Gibson, Quanell Farrakhan's. These are the guys that are going to have to stick around. Draylon Miller's, Marion Miller, like hopefully he sticks. JoJo. So yeah, they got some work cut out for them this offseason now. It's damage control season. They have to minimize the damage as much as possible and as many players living in the portal as possible. And again, I'm not within that building. Don't talk or know anybody within the building, but this is typically how these kind of things go. But I would expect some house cleaning to take place. Now, just to jump into a little bit of the keys to the game that I had. Do you think Humble Texas says, do you think there is still time for damage control? Yeah, I do. I would expect, I shouldn't even say that. I do think so. They are going to lose some players, right? Every team loses players because it's the nature of the transfer portal in college football right now. But it's just those main guys that you have to keep, right? You cannot go around losing all kinds of players. These guys have to stick. Those highly touted freshman recruits that they got, the ones that have already committed as well for this 26 class. But yeah, I think there still is time. I think the Buffs will hang on to most of them. And again, the big one is should say the big two is your Jordan Seatons and your Julian Lewis's. So you got to make sure that those guys stay in Boulder. So whatever it is that takes place, something needs to happen. Maybe this is the point too. You start playing the young guys, and again, you start crossing that line a little bit, right? Of the 4 games, you play in 4 games, right? So we know Julian's played in 1 game, right? Even if it was just a drive, it still counts as a game. So we have, if Julian is going to play or take over at any point, it will not be this weekend. It'll be next weekend because, again, why waste just for 1 game that red shirt? And again, it didn't matter a couple weeks ago because, again, like I said, I don't think Julian Lewis is going to be a college football player for 3, probably more than likely maximum of 3 years. But you never know. So I would say that you're probably looking at trying to retain those guys. And again, Amarian has a year or 2 left. I can't remember what year is he a sophomore? I want to say he's a junior, but let me double check on that. I can't, if it's he redshirt junior, let's see. So I want to say he's a junior though. So yeah, he's a junior. So they would have him for 1 more year. And again, that's hopeful that he stays. Draylen Miller, they need to hang on to him. But I would expect a new offense coordinator and possibly defense coordinator, probably some different position coaches. But I think a lot's going to change this offseason with this team. So keys to the game, though, that I had was before announcement came out, right? It was right at kickoff that we found out that Dampier was not going to play. But whatever it may be, you got to stop them both, right? Make him throw the rock. And as we've seen, they were really not effective throwing the football. I guess I should say, right? They had 400 yards of rushing alone. So, discipline on defense and stay in your gap and make your reads. That didn't happen. It did not happen. This is a good one. Chad asks, sorry if I missed this. Did you find out why Trackhawk wasn't playing? No, I did not. Why DeKalen Taylor didn't play? Almost feels like he's one of those ones that is one and done at CU, or one of the ones that is going to enter the portal now because don't know what is going on with him. So yeah, no, I did not. I thought he would be back, and that would have been, it's a huge player that they need, right? With speed, all of those different things. So no missed tackles. And I said, obviously it's hard to have no missed tackles in a game, but 2 to 3 did not happen. Missed a ton of tackles. I'm curious to see what the number is that comes out there. I would expect, probably around double digits, 9 to 10, somewhere around there, missed tackles. And again, that can't happen. And then 3 was win the turnover battle. They need to get a takeaway or 2 to win. Did not get one, right when it mattered. I don't even think they got one all game. Team stats. Let me just double check this because they might have gotten a garbage one when you're kind of not paying attention at that point. I don't think they did though. Let's see, turnovers. I can't find it for some reason, but I know, like we saw Caden Salter threw an interception early. And again, that ball, that needs to be a perfect throw at that point, right? It's a bucket though. You got to throw it in that bucket over there, but they, in between the safety and corner, again, did not happen. Just a really bad throw. Again, you can make that throw, but again, that has to be a perfect throw at that point, right? So total, I don't know why they don't have the official box score does not have turnovers. I think it was just 1. The Buffs may have lost 2 though. But it did look like, let me see the box score again. So nope, it doesn't have it listed anywhere. But yeah, that is what it looked like. I'm pretty sure it was just 1-0 turnovers. And again, it didn't. When you get beat that badly, I don't think it really, you can have a turnover to even tie the turnover. But, some of those things that they did, you give up You give up 400 rushing yards, 422 rushing yards. Yeah, you're not going to win any games if that is the way, And again, we knew this would be a struggle. 422 yards, though. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a struggle. But that was bad, right? Passing, they had, 165 yards. Again, that's pretty good. But again, why throw the football when you're running it with so much success? Their average per rush, 8.3 yards. And I'm curious to see what that was like, when I'm able to break it down for tomorrow's show a little bit further of when that started to go down. Like what was that in the first half yards per carry, right? Because we know in the first half, Colorado had like negative 18 yards, negative 10 yards, something like that. And at that point, I think Utah might have been, I don't know if they got to that 400 mark or not, but it was damn near close, right? Before that blocked punt, I think it was like at 396. And then they had those couple plays with no timeouts that they ran. But yeah, that was just a horrible, horrible performance. They did not get off the bus. I am curious, though. Let me see if I can find that line, what the line is for next week. Because, again, Arizona is playing – they're playing pretty solid football right now. So, let me see if we can find the odds for that game. 5.5-point favorite to beat the Buffs. Over under as of right now is 51.5. So, yeah, they go in as 6-point favorite, 6-point underdogs at home. So, yikes. And I don't know if they're gonna. I'm curious. We're looking ahead here, but I'm curious if they're gonna be favored in any of the games moving forward for the rest of the year. So, man. Yep, just tough. So, yeah, none of those things went Colorado's way. None of the keys to the game, rip them up, did not happen. So, again, stop Dampier or Bird Ficklin running. Did not happen, right? And underneath those, make him throw the rock. Yes, they did, but it wasn't because you stopped the other thing. It was because some of those plays, they just started to practice some things. Isaiah Yates, he started – they put Tayon Parks in, and then he gives up a touchdown quickly. And again, that I don't get it with this team a little bit, like the coaching and everything that we talk about, like the defensive. Tayon Parks has struggled all year long. He goes in there, can't even find the football in the air, thrown in the end zone, and he looked completely turned around on a fade route, which is crazy to me, right? On a fade, unreal, right? He's just running just a little fade, get a little bit wide, and so it was did not disciplined on defense and stay in your gap and make your reads. Did not happen as we've seen in the second play of the game. Nope, no read was made there. We had, I don't remember who it was, if it was Keaton Wade or Artem Walker, but I think it was Artem Walker, came crashed down on it, and Bird Ficklin takes it to the house. No missed tackles, did not happen. I put in here too, for the notes underneath. If they don't tackle Dampier, he's going to run all day long. Bird Ficklin ran all day long, as well as Wayshawn Parker. And again, this has been a problem for the Buffs, which seems like forever. Still continues to plague them. When the turnover battle did not started the second drive of the game with the turnover, with the interception. So the game almost after that huge touchdown run was over. Got a safety. They avoided a safety. I think the first the play before they actually got the intentional grounding, it looked like to me that Salter was in the end zone and threw it up. When the hold occurred, when the hold occurred, it looked like that Salter was in the end zone. They caught a break there, but then the very next play, they get a safety right on intentional grounding play. So, none of that helped their cause. So, just an all around bad performance by Colorado. Arizona this next week at 5 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff. We'll see what the Buffs can get going this weekend. We'll see what changes. They are going to get blitzed to death probably moving forward now because they cannot pick up. Couldn't even audible. And again, that is just, you can't do that. Like you have to you got to be able to pick up a blitz, shift, move your tight ends in, keep them in. Nobody knew what they were doing, right? Like not acceptable whatsoever. And yeah, there was zero accountability. I know I seen couple other things. Well, I know Prime said this is on me, all those good things, but like even out there on the field, I agree with you, Gennaro. There's a whole different team mentality this year versus last year. This is just finger pointing. Seems like everyone's getting upset. This team is they're not gelling, right? It looks like some of them don't like each other, whatever it may be. It just, there is no accountability on this team, right? Even showing up late, like after the bye when you're supposed to be there on time. Like I don't understand that piece of it either. You're supposed to be there on Sunday. I mean, me personally, I don't know if I would have went home. My ass probably would have stood there in Boulder and worked my ass off to get better. But again, I get it. They're kids. They probably miss their family, but it'd be a little bit different. Coach Prime needs to fire someone because problems always belong from the top. Yep. I think I wouldn't be shocked to see Shermer relieved of play call duties, or not even like fired, but like they're gonna give someone else an opportunity to call plays. So, because what is it? It's Coach Bartolone, I believe, would be the one to call plays. But yeah, the play calling was bad. D coordinator, gosh, they got to stop running so much man-to-man defense. They don't have the personnel to do it. And again, I get it. Their defense just isn't very good this year, right? Like I'm struggling with that one. Oh, and then Carter Stoutmeyer. I wonder if he was one of the ones late as well because he was removed off of the injury report, right? So was he late? It was just, this team just, they discipline, all those kind of things. It just is not there right now. And again, we don't, the best players need to stay, that the Buffs have, but some of those other ones, they probably, it would be okay if they transferred, right? And the Buffs, again, as always, they'll be after it in the transfer portal. Go get some players. That's what they do. But I think having Coach Prime there helps, and love Dion. But he's probably going to have to get out there and start recruiting and hitting the road a little bit. That's part of the job. And again, I know the health issues were there these last couple years, but I think hopefully he's no other problems, right? I know he just had that surgery a couple weeks back with the blood clots, but hopefully he's ready to go though. So it's you got to start hitting that recruiting trail hard. Love Coach Prime, love everything he's done. But I think, that's just the reality of the position. So my hope is that he is healthy first and foremost, and that he's able to hit the recruiting trail, right? Like that would be a huge bump, right? If you've seen Prime rolling up to your high school, right? Deion Sanders is here for you. How do you not love that, right? That goes a long way. So Humble Texan says, when we went down by 43 at half, I figured it was a lost cause. Most points put up by the Buffs this year is 37, I think, against a team not near as good. Yep, against Wyoming, 37. So, it was done. I felt like, what was it, 17-0? You were still kind of there, and then once that safety occurred, they were toast at that point. Ball game over. And the way the offense was just not doing anything at all. So, tomorrow's show, we'll be here. I'll be here 6 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. We'll do deep dive into the game. We'll get more of the statistics out from PFF, and we'll go from there and see kind of what the hell happened yesterday. Talk about the game more, dive deeper into it. I want to go over PFF grades, all those things. There's probably not a single person who scored highly. Jordan Seaton's worst game by far last night. So yeah, we'll see what PFF says. But as always, just wanted to touch base with you guys. Again, it was probably better we didn't do it last night. It was late. And then another reason is I was not in a good headspace. It would have been a scorched earth kind of thing. And that's not what I want to do, right? Like they lost the game. And it happens, right? It happens. You lose football games. That's it's going to happen. But getting your ass kicked like this was not good. So yeah, I don't want to go scorched earth on anybody right now. So, but we'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. We'll deep dive into all the PFF stats, the different metrics, analytics, all those different kind of things tomorrow night, as always. But thank you again for joining. Post game, I guess, whatever you want to call it. I do appreciate you guys. Without you guys, there's no show. Make sure to follow me on X at Manny_303, IG at 303_Manny. You guys catch me on your favorite podcast form. So again, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon. We're on each one of those. Any contributions to the show will be appreciated. Again, not required. Venmo is at Manny S2S. So right there at the bottom. But again, not required, but just appreciated. But as always, like Heisman Trophy winning Travis Hunter said, "Go Buffs, baby." All right, we'll catch you guys tomorrow night. Enjoy your football Sunday. My team's on a bye. Fortunately, I should say, they're on a bye because I don't have to watch them get their ass kicked. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday.